Hear ye, this is Lord Potato, and yes, this is part 4 of What If Luffy was the reincarnation of Kakashi Hatake and Satoru Gojo. Part 4, yeah. I know that I uploaded this like 2 months ago, and I should have probably tried to finish every other One Piece. What if I have done? And maybe newer ones. So yeah. Other than that, I should probably not do a recap because I'm too lazy. So we go into where I last left it off. So of course Zoro is right now whooping the shit out of the what's called Whiskey Peak like people and all that, just whooping all of them. Of course he knows about Barante and the others and blah blah blah. The organization called that. Of course, is where, I think her name was Mrs. Fighting against Mrs. Valentine and Mr. Five. Of course, are like fighting against Zoro. And this is where Luffy, he is not like the same Luffy in original canon. He's not gonna fight against what's it called Zoro, and he's not loaded up with food and all that. He didn't even eat or drink that much. What Luffy did. He didn't trust that much anything. Of course, he comes outside, seeing Zoro kind of fighting against Mr. Five and Mrs. Valentine. Of course, this is where, not Naruto. Luffy did also kind of woke up with a car. Luffy did wake up what's called Nojiko. Basically, what's called Nami's sister. And of course, telling what's called Nojiko to kind of wake up Nami, Sanji, Uson, and while he goes to fight what they call the enemy. Of course, this is where, when Mr. Five was about to like throw another bomb at what's called, Zoro, this is where Luffy appears, kind of blocking the bomb without even like using anything. He basically just let it kind of explode near him, but didn't actually reach him. It's where, Mr. Five was like, damn, this guy's dangerous. Because he can sense this weird aura from Luffy. It's where Luffy appears right next to him and hits him in the side of the head. Like, kicks him right in the side of the head. Hitting Mr. Five into, a brick wall. This is where, what's it called? This is where, Nojiko does manage to wake up everyone. And even what's it called, Sanji. Was Sanji there? Damn, I forgot if he was on the boat or not. But, oh yeah, he was there because he was all talking to the ladies and trying to. Or that was Usopp. Damn, I can't fucking remember. But yeah, of course, she managed to wake them all up. And of course, when they managed to get outside, Mrs. Valentine tries to attack, Luffy. This is where, Nami actually decides to pull out her spear and actually, stab Mrs. Valentine's. As for Mrs. Valentine's like, damn, you. This is where before because Nami's not stab, mostly her bow staff is a bow staff, but it can also have a hidden blade in it. So yeah. Of course, she did kind of stab in Mrs. Valentine, and this is where Mrs. Valentine's were about to hit Nami, but this is where Nami, she actually gets protected by her sister because her sister added armament hawking to punch Mrs. Valentine's down. Even if Mrs. Valentine's managed to use short double fruit, it wouldn't work against armament hawking. So yeah, of course, this is where Sanji, he's right now beating up like half the bandits, even though there's like a couple left. And Uson is right now scared and running away. He's like, holy shit, what the hell? He's only a sniper, so he pulls out his what the hell they call? His Uson's slingshot to kind of shoot at some not bandits, some of the Baranchian members and all that. But yeah. This is where Luffy is right now on top. Well, not on top of Mr. Five. He's right now just above him. And this is where Luffy kicks what's it called Mr. 5 in the what's it called chest, kind of throwing him up. And this is where Mr. 5 lands back down. Right now, all kind of broken. He was right now just knocked the fuck out. This is where, well, Mrs. What's it called? Mr. 6 and Mrs. What was, what's it called? Of course, this is where, well, after the little fights and scuffle, while Luffy didn't even try that much, and Zoro was the one to actually whoop the hell out of all of the barge members, the leftover ones, was somewhat. This is where, well, Nami and what's it called? Nami still meets Vivi, basically the princess and all that. And of course, is where, well, the princess explains that she's basically trying to get back to her kingdom, and she does ask Luffy for help. This is where, well, Luffy thinks about it. This is where Luffy just thinking about it, and this is where basically Nami's sister is saying, should we help her, Captain? This is where Luffy says, yes, but I want something in return. Now, that something is, I have no fucking clue until we actually defeat what's it called, whoever the fuck is the leader of the terrorizing your fucking, well, what's it called, kingdom, and terrorizing your kingdom. I would kind of know after I beat the crap out of him. This is where BB is very excited, and she's happy to know that, what's it called, this white-haired guy with basically no way to see his face is helping her. Of course, she's excited and happy, and this is where Luffy says, don't get over ahead of yourself, okay? I'm not doing this purely out of kindness. Don't think so. This is where, well, she says, okay. And of course, she still goes on what's it called, the boat of the merry-go and all that. Of course, this is where, well, Sanji's still simping for what's it called, Vivi, Norjiro, and what's it called, Nami. But of course, this is where, well, what's it called, Vivi is kind of like the guard and all that, the one guy and all that, big guy, kind of, what's it called, still says, I will sacrifice myself for you, Princess Vivi. Still gets shot down. And of course, this is where Vivi still tells him about who is the, what's it called, leader named Crocodile. This is where Luffy isn't scared. He does not care. He has heard of Crocodile before. And this is where, well, when they, what's it called, hear it, this is where they all freak out because, holy shit, they now know the name. And of course, this is where, was it a bird or a bat? That bird still kind of finds out and went to go, like, well, still give the message and all that. But this is where, well, a bomb still hits, what to call that, one dude's boat and all that, I should have mentioned. And Robin is there. Yes, Nico Robin. This is where she is there, kind of laughing at them. And of course, she kind of just, like, is interested in all of them. Just like, very interesting. This is where Luffy says, who the fuck are you and why are you on my boat? This is where Nico Robin could not react fast enough. Why the hell did I say Naruto? I mean, Luffy was like right next to her. Whispering, well, not even whispering, kind of talking near her ear. This is where she freaked out. And this is where all of them are kind of still surprised that Luffy is super fast. This is where Vivi is kind of shocked to see how fast Luffy is. This is where Robin, like, looks at Luffy. Can see that Luffy, either he's blind or he's just hiding his eyes and his, like, face. This is where she says, so what's under that, what's it called? Well, what's it called? Clothing. Those, what's it called? Not clothing. That, what's it called? Those cloth and also that mask. This is where not Naruto. Luffy says, oh, none of your business, if that's what you want to know. This is where, well, she says, oh, why won't you tell me? I'm a beautiful... This is where Luffy says, no, you're just part of the enemy. Don't really care. This is where, well, Luffy snapped a finger and says, curse energy red. And this is where a red ball appears. This is where Luffy was about to fling it at what's called Robin. Until Robin says, wait, I'm not here to actually fight you, if that's what you're wondering. I'm here to, well, give you an internal, what's it called? Oh, to get all the way to, well, not an internal, what's it called? I forgot what it's called. The internal compass and all that. Or whatever the hell it's called. To get all the way to, well, what's called kingdom. This is where, well, Luffy gets it. Of course, he says, interesting. And how do I not know this is not a trap? That's where Robin says, oh, you don't need to believe me, though. Here's where Luffy says, okay, are you going to get off my boat, or do I have to kick you out? And knowing you, you're probably a devil fruit user, so I can easily just drown you. Here's where Robin says, threatening someone? That's kind of rude. This is where Luffy kicks her down towards the water, and she's right now freaking out because she wasn't expecting Luffy to kick her that hard or even see the kick, because Luffy is extremely fast. This is where, well, she's falling almost to the water until Luffy managed to catch her mid-air. Luffy is right now flying. Reason why is because, what's it called? Well, Gojo can fly somewhat. He can use his curse energy. I think it was blue to kind of lift himself up a little bit, but yeah, Yeah. This is where, well, she is shocked to see someone flying. Well, no wings, well, nothing, just standing there in fucking air. This is where Luffy says, I have the power to just drop you, you know that? This is where, well, Robin is sweating so bad. Her hat almost falls down. This is where, well, Luffy says, I might be a terrible person to drop you, knowing damn well you're probably a devil fruit user. But who really cares? This is where he kind of, says, I can easily drop you. Do you want me to drop you? This is where, well, she is kind of scared. She doesn't want to go in the water because she knows that's the weakest. Her weakness of her, well, devil fruit. This is where, well, Luffy then also says, or do you want me to go into the water first and catch you in the water? This is where, well, she then thinks about it. Thinking maybe this is a devil fruit, she then says, how about you go into the water? Luffy legit drops into the water, lets her be there for like a couple of seconds in midair. Realize that Robin can see Luffy just swimming around, just like kind of paddling around, and he's not even weakened by the water. This is where she kind of is confused, and of course she does kind of fall still because she was in midair for a little bit. Because, well, what happened is that there was actually a piece of string that was actually attaching her from not falling in the kunai and all that. And of course, no one saw that real fast because Luffy did it so fast. And this is where Luffy then threw something at the piece of string, like another kunai, to just cut it and so she can fall. This is where she falls down, and of course she's weakened. Of course, this is where, well, Luffy does manage to get her out. And this is where Luffy says, see, I can easily threaten you. Do you really want to fight me, though? This is where Robin says, no. She's weakened, but of course, this is where Luffy says, actually, we can use you as a good ransom against Crocodile. But I don't care. You can go back towards the car. Crocodile, you can warn him, I'm beating his ass later. But other than that, goodbye. Now get out of my boat before I kick you again into the water. Here's where Robin freaks out and does manage to leave, okay? So, of course, is where, well, they all look at Luffy. And Luffy says, well, am I supposed to be kind of a bad person for doing that? This is where Sanji says, yes! This is where Zoro says, no. At least we kind of got good information from her. She is a devil fruit user. No, what's it called? No, Nojiro says true. Basically, we can see all devil fruit users are weakened to water. This is where, well, Nami says, yeah, of course, she was kind of, kind of jealous a little bit, seeing Luffy kind of play with someone else, somewhat. Basically, Luffy was just playing with Robin. Not even really gonna threaten her to actually throw her into the goddamn ocean using curse energy rep. So yeah, he basically dispelled it after kind of seeing what's it called, Nico Robin not gonna, what's it called, not wanting to get launched. But yeah. So of course this is where they get to the next island, and of course the next island is a little garden, and of course they can legit kind of skip little garden because they have the log post. But this is where Luffy kind of just gives it to Nami, and Nami was wondering why they were going to this island. Luffy says that if this island does have a radius of like taking forever for the log post to change, it'd be bad enough. But this island, not knowing what the hell it's called, would be good enough to kind of restock on food, on supplies, and all them other things. Right, Sanji? Sanji is saying, yes, sir. So, of course, they kind of get there, and because they did see it from far away, because Luffy's eyes managed to see it. Because he wanted to at least see, because he doesn't really need to use what's called a telescope or anything. He can just use his Sharingan to see from far away, but yeah. Of course, Vivi did not see Luffy's eyes or nothing. So yeah, of course, when it gets kind of dark, they kind of stay still and blah 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 because yeah, they all gotta go to sleep and all that. And of course, Vivi kind of goes to sleep with Jiro, and they have a separate bed and all that because yeah, that's the girl side. This is where Vivi kind of sees Nami go into the captain's quarter. This is where Vivi kind of asks Najiro about why Nami is kind of sleeping with Luffy. This is where Najiro kind of goes perverted a little bit, and she says, "Oh, well, my little sister is kind of well, how should I say, in love with the captain." This is where Nami managed to hear that and says, "No, I'm not, you asshole. This is still just because of the punishment. You know, the month hasn't been over, okay?" This is where Najiro is like laughing a little bit. She's giggling like a madman. And of course, this is where, Vivi is kind of shocked to see that, there was a punishment on Nami because of what? She then asks what's it called Najiro. Najiro says, "Oh, that's because my little sister did steal Luffy's ship before." Now, of course, if that happened, there's other things I might go in specific detail, but I don't want to because that's my little sister's secret. I mean, maybe that was her secret to kind of get closer to the captain. This is where Nami still hears it and says, "Shut up!" Yeah, Nami can pretty much hear because she had arbitration hawking. She actually, she actually unlocked it, and she's always using it against hearing anything from her older sister because her older sister just loves to spread rumors, being either false or true. Now, of course, this is where Najiro says, I hope you get some good night's sleep." That's where Vivi kind of says, "Yeah, you too." This is where when Nami is sleeping, she is of course embarrassed, and of course Luffy, he kind of went towards to sleep when Nami, but at a certain time in the night, Luffy kind of woke up and kind of went outside to kind of look into the night sky. This is where, Luffy, he's actually thinking, what should he get in exchange to kind of help in exchange to kind of help Vivi. That's where Luffy is kind of thinking. And of course, he could get riches, but he really doesn't care that much about riches. And then he just thinks about it. So, that reminds me. This is where he thinks about Shanks. And of course, how he's like the fourth, Emperor of the Sea and all that. And of course, he then thinks about, maybe she make like an army. Wait. He's thinking of, because if he does become like either a high-ranking bounty or something like that, he can make an army of himself and blah blah blah. He did it with Nami's Island, Nami's Island. So yeah, he kind of has Nami's Island in protection and all that if he ever needs to go to Nami's Island. But yeah, this is where he also has Usopp's Island protected when he actually becomes either a warlord or a Well, he doesn't really want to become a warlord. He just wants to become a high-ranking bounty so no one can actually mess with those islands. So, of course, well, Luffy is thinking, and of course, Nami kind of wakes up because she doesn't really feel the warpness of Luffy being behind her. So, of course, she wakes up, realizing that Luffy hasn't been near her for a while. It actually happened this for a couple of like days. Luffy just been thinking over much time. Because, yeah, of course, this is where Nami wakes up, kind of going towards the dock and all that. Or not the dock, the boat, the outside and all that. And sees Luffy just being out there. Of course, Luffy has his blindfold off and his mask off, kind of letting his blue eyes kind of like glitter into the like night. Of course, when Nami sees this, she becomes really, really red, like Hinata red. This is where, well, Luffy already sensed Nami was actually looking at him. And of course, this is where Luffy says, I know you're there, Nami. Nami kind of freezes up, like she freezes, kind of hearing Luffy's voice, and directly mostly to her. And of course, she says, Luffy, what are you doing? Luffy kind of like turns, well, doesn't even turn around. He's just saying, just thinking. This is where, well, Nami says, thinking about what? Luffy says, thinking about you. What do you think? This is where Nami gets flustered and says, what? This is where Luffy says, nah, not really. I might think about you sometimes. But I'm thinking of what I should get from exchange towards the car. Well, towards helping VB. We really don't need riches that much because I can always just go raid other people's treasure. But yeah. This is where, well, Nami thinks she was thinking of money, but then she realized that Luffy really doesn't care about money right now. She then says, what about having a part of their kingdom? This is where Luffy says, having them under my protection? No, like being somewhat connected to the kingdom. What, like a merge with Vivi? Isn't Vivi younger than me? Wait. Was Vivi... I forgot how old Vivi was. I think she was the same age as what's called Luffy, but I can't remember. So, of course, this is where, well, Nami says, no. I don't think she really wants that. This is where, well, someone was actually hearing them, and there was someone with blue hair and so someone with long blue hair and black eyes were hearing what's called Luffy and Nami's conversation. And of course, she is right now blushing really red. And of course, Luffy can also sense her being there because his, six eyes are allowed him to, sense everyone and even see anyone. Of course, you can see Zoro, Sanji, Uson already asleep. You can see Norjiro, basically Nami's sister, asleep also. But he can see Nami being right in front of him, or behind him mostly. And also, behind the wall, towards somewhat close to the, kitchen, was, Norjiro, not Norjiro, Vivi. So, of course, this is where he can sense her behind there, listening. This is where, sorry, I'm just kind of, I have an allergy, so that's why I have to kind of pause for a second to kind of breathe in, but yeah. Of course, this is where, Luffy says, hey, Vivi, you want to give us an advice of, what we should ask for your, dad? This is where Vivi is shocked, and this is where Nami actually uses, observation hawk, and sees Vivi behind there. This is where Vivi says, hi. This is where, Luffy says, right, she hasn't seen my eyes. So, of course, he, covers up his, face, and even, puts blindfold and all that. That's where Vivi says, I kind of already saw your, she didn't see mostly anything. And, of course, this is where she sees Luffy. And, of course, this is where, Luffy says, so, want to give us any advice? This is where Vivi says, not really. I don't really know what you want. And this is where, Luffy says, Okay. This is where Luffy is thinking else. And this is where, well, Nami says, well, I'm going back to sleep. Of course, she kind of narrow her eyes near to Vivi. And of course, she just walks away. This is where Vivi doesn't really understand, but this is where Vivi kind of says, well, I'm also going back to sleep. This is where, well, Luffy says, before you go, how bad is, what's it called, your kingdom in battle right now? What state is it right now in? That's where Vivi says, right now we're dealing with what's it called, rebels, because of how Crocodile is trying to manipulate the rebels, kind of fighting the kingdom of how bad it is. That's where it says, okay. We will go to the item first that I saw in the distance. First, just to get supplies and all that. And then after that, we will go towards your kingdom. This is where, well, not Nami, what's it called, Vivi nodded and she goes back inside. So yeah. So of course they get to Little Garden, and of course this is where they all are getting off. So Sanji and Zoro still kind of fights each other to kind of get what's it called, more supplies, if whoever gets enough like supplies and all that. Like food and all that. And of course they kind of run out. Well, what's it called? Zoro and Sanji does that, but yeah. Of course, where, well, Luffy, Vivi, the duck was still there. Nami and even what's it called, Najiro goes with Luffy to kind of explore. Even Usan decides to go. Actually, Sanji kind of stays in. I think that was in ritual kind of, he stays there. As it were, well, Luffy is just kind of going with what's called, he's kind of with Vivi and all that. And of course, this is where Nami kind of goes with Usan, even though she doesn't really want to go. And of course, Nami's sister actually goes along with Nami to kind of keep an eye on her. This is where the duck also follows them along with what's called Vivi and Luffy. This is where, well, they're exploring. They still meet the giant, but what's called, Luffy still senses what's it called. He does have what's called his 6 size blindfold and all that, but he does sense a little bit of what's called an intruder, not his like what's it called crew members, but an intruder on the island. So of course he tells the called Vivi and the duck to stay with the giant. And this is where Luffy says, don't worry, I'll be coming back anytime soon. That's where Luffy disappears. He teleports. And of course he appears right next to, well, Mr. 5, Miss Valentine's, Mr. 3, and I think her, what's it called? His partner was, what's it called? Mrs. Summer? Wait, no, her name is Mrs. Monday. And of course Luffy appears, having his crimson red eyes already out and his blindfold near what's called his mouth and all that. Just like already taken off. So Luffy says, hello you idiots. I know you 3 are here to cause trouble. This is where all of them kind of turns around and sees Luffy with his crimson red eyes. And of course, they kind of now feel fear because Luffy has this weird aura behind him. And it's just a Susanoo kind of glowing behind him. This is where, well, Luffy's already intended to just kill all 5 of them. Or not 5 of them, 4 of them. But yeah, this is where, well, Mr. 3 says, you think you can scare... This is where Luffy appears right in front of Mr. 3. Already having his foot on, what's it called, Mr. 3's face. Right now, crushing him to the ground. That's where Mr. 5, what's called, not Mrs. Wednesday, Mr. Valentine, Mrs. Monday are right now shocked and horrified. This is where Luffy says, shut up. Look here. Listen to someone who's stronger than what's called Crocodile. This is where, well, Luffy looks at what's called Mr. 5 about to like grab something. And this is where Luffy says, Amaterasu. This is where, well, I know Obito doesn't really have Amaterasu. He had Kamui, but just for the goddamn sakes, he does kind of have Amaterasu. Besides, everyone did have special abilities. I mean, for Sasuke and Itachi to have multiple abilities, even I think Madara had multiple abilities, but he really never shown them. It's like what's called his true power of the MS ability, or EMS mostly. The reason why Itachi and Sasuke had multiple abilities is not because they were kind of from a special bloodline. I mean, they were kind of descendants of Indra and all that. It's just plot writing. But other than that, I'm giving what's called, Luffy the plot writing to kind of have Amaterasu in his, Sharingan, his MS. So, of course, he just says Amaterasu and it hits Mr. 5 with it. Of course, this is where, he's burning up. And, of course, this is where Luffy, doesn't stop it. This is where Mrs. Valentine is right now trying to help with the call Mr. 5. And Luffy kind of goes towards her, having his hand out with lightning and saying, I can easily kill all 4 of you in an instant. But I have one proposition. This is where Mrs. Valentine is scared of, Luffy. Because Luffy has the direct crimson red eyes right now glowing in the kind of dark. So, of course, the trees were kind of blocking the sun. And, of course, all you can see in the, what's it called, dark were red, crimson eyes, glowing. Now, that's kind of terrifying if you see that in the night, in the dark. But, of course, this is where, they're terrified. Of course, Mr. 3 is right now knocked the fuck out. And right now, Mr. 5 is burning up. That's where Luffy says, I'll have one proposition. You give up this stupid, oops, I kind of dropped something. You stop, working for Crocodile, for, the boss leader, and you work for me. This is where, Mrs. Valentine say, sure. This is where Mrs. Monday also say yes. And this is where, Luffy stops the Amaterasu from what's called Mr. 5 to actually burning him to a crisp. And this is where, Luffy waits. He sits down on a rock, waits for Mr. 5 and Mr. 3 to wake up. This is where, they kind of wake up and, of course, start seeing the red crimson eyes. And, of course, this is where Mr. 3 is terrified with Luffy and even Mr. 5. This is where Luffy says, I want you to stop working for, Baranji and work for me. I'm actually thinking of starting a business after I take out Crocodile. And what's it called? The Kingdom of Alabasque? I forgot his real name. Not real name. I think it was Alabasque. But yeah. I haven't watched One Piece in a while. But of course, they kind of nodded. And of course, Luffy says, you will now just be with me on my boat. If you cause any trouble, I'm going to tell, my lieutenant to kill all 4 of you in an instant. This is why all of them are horrified because they don't know if Zoro is really the lieutenant. So Zoro is somewhat the lieutenant. So yeah. This is where, they're all horrified of Luffy. And this is where Luffy says, now let's go. Get to my boat while I stop the 2 giants. So Luffy says, Luffy does kind of bring them towards the boat and does tell Sanji to keep an eye on them. Of course, Sanji still kind of did that communicator saying that, the pirates are dead, but yeah. Of course, this is where, when Sanji got report of Luffy kind of turning the other members down because he kicked the shit out of them, Sanji did keep an eye on them, but of course, he was kind of simping for the girls, so yeah. And of course, Luffy did also tell him, don't you dare simp. If you do, I'm gonna murder you. His red eye was right now glowing through the black, blindfold, but yeah. This is where Sanji says, yep, I won't do it, but he's right now doing it. So, of course, Luffy gets to the giant fights and stops them before fighting. Because he screams at them, saying, how about this? Let's settle your rivalry through me. Let's see who's the strongest here. That's where the 2 of them kind of laugh and say, you see here, you're not as tall as us. This is where Luffy says, oh really? You think I'm not tall as you? Then let's just settle this. If I kick your ass, if I kick both of your asses at once, you will settle the stupidly rivalry right now. And stop trying to kill each other. This is where, Uson, Nami, and Najura are right now hearing that. Vivi and even the Duck is hearing that. This is where Vivi is kind of thinking Luffy is crazy. And this is where Luffy takes off his blindfold, showing his, crimson red eyes. And of course, where Luffy says, then let's do it. This is where the two giants says, "Okay, little small human, we will see this deal, but if you die, then that's a sad rip for you." That's where Luffy says, "Susanoo." This is where he activates the Susanoo, and it's the perfect Susanoo. This is where, well, Luffy's eyes are right now just looking at the two giants. The two giants are right now looking at Luffy's Susanoo. Now, what's it called? So what's it called? Luffy's Susanoo is pretty tall and kind of bigger than the giants a little bit. But of course, this is where Luffy kind of stomps the ground, and of course it shakes because of his Susanoo's legs. And of course, it's walking towards the two giants. The two giants are right now stop laughing because they see this giant armor Susanoo walking towards them. Of course, having wings. That's where Luffy does make a sword out of thin air made out of chakra. But of course, it's kind of a Tonto, smaller. A little bit like that. Of course, I know that the Susanoo has usually shurikens that has the Kamui ability, but this just katana is just, I'm going to add it in, okay? So, of course, this is where, well, in his other hand, it's another Tonto, because Luffy does add that in also. And of course, he is wasting a lot of chakra, but right now, he doesn't care. He is right now just being next to what's called two giants. The two giants get ready. And of course, Luffy then make a clone to go towards his crew members. And of course, where Zoro's right now lost. But of course, he does get grabbed from Luffy and does bring him to the boat. And everyone does get bring back to a boat. Because Luffy can just teleport like that. With a clone mostly. This is where, well, Vivi is seeing Luffy's clone. But this is where the Luffy clone kind of poof. This is where, well, Vivi says, did he just poof? This is where, well, all of them are shocked. But of course, they hear a clash and battle between, in the distance. This is where, well, Luffy clashes with the two not barbarians, the two giants with their weapons, using its small tontos. This is where Luffy kicks at one of the giants, kind of smashing him into the distance, well, far away from the other one. This is where Luffy also kind of was about to stab at the giant, but this is where he disappeared the sword, and instead uppercuts the giant in the jawline. This is where they kind of do use their weapons to kind of throw it at Luffy. It hits Luffy, but doesn't break Luffy's Susanoo. This is where Luffy grabs the weapon and shatters it, kind of shatters it, and of course, kind of not rushes because he can't move that fast, but of course, kind of walk really fast towards one of them, punches one to the ground, kind of cracking the ground, and of course, the other one tries to hit hit Luffy with the shield. Luffy dodges it with the Susanoo. Right now, knee in the other one in the stomach, the one that tried to hit him with the shield. And of course, the other tall one tries to attack Luffy with his weapon. Of course, where Luffy grabs his weapon and of course just throws it away and kind of throws it away and kicks the tall one in again. And yeah, most of the other weapon was from the other giant, the shorter one, but yeah. Of course, where, well, they are right now on the ground, 2 minutes later, they're right now on the ground. Luffy is right now panting. He's tired. His eyes right now took too much chakra, but he doesn't care. He's right now breathing really hard. This is where Luffy says, "Do you give up now?" This is where, well, the two of them says, "Yeah, we give up." This is where Luffy says, Good. He kind of closes his eyes, and of course his sun does shatter. Well, not shatter, disappears. And Luffy is right now falling in high speed to the ground. This is where Zoro kind of says, "Luffy." This is where Nami says, "Luffy." This is where, well, Zoro is about to go try to grab Luffy from the sky, not trying to fall down. But this is where, well, the giant does manage to catch Luffy before Luffy can hit the ground. This is where, well, Luffy is just tired. This is where, well, the giant does put Luffy down to the ground so his crew members can see him. And of course, Luffy didn't really use what they call unnecessary violence to cut them or kill them or anything. He didn't really kill them. He just punched the shit out of them mostly. He used the weapons to kind of intimidate, to show that he can make weapons out of thin air. But yeah. But Luffy just is very tired. This is where, well, Nami kind of sees that Luffy's just tired and not dying or anything, which she's glad. And of course, she does kind of get what's called Sanji to kind of grab Luffy. But before anything else, Nami does put his blindfold back on. But yeah. And of course, Sanji does bring what's called Luffy back to his bed, and yeah. And of course, well, Nami had to take control of the situation with what's called the Giants. And Nami does talk to what's called the Giants. The Giants agree that they will stop this unnecessary what's called violence to each other and just live long in life. Besides, their weapons are already what's called just destroyed because of Luffy and even Shield, but yeah. This is where, well, they still are very what's called very not angry but kind of excited to see if Luffy will ever get stronger, and if he does, would they want a rematch with Luffy? That's where Nami kind of just sighs, but yeah. She then says, fine. This is where, well, Phoebe, she's glad that nothing kind of went that bad, but yeah. Of course, this is where Mr. 5, Mrs. What's it called? Valentine's, Mrs. Monday, and even Mr. 3 are shocked to see what's called Luffy's power, and they are glad that they're not fighting against Luffy again. So, of course, even though Luffy's kind of weak in state, he's just tired. So, of course, well, they just talked to the Giants for a little bit. Nami kind of asked the Giants if about the what's called island's kind of history and all that, and why is it stuck in this kind of age and all that. Because this is where the Giants kind of explains that the different islands would just be stuck in different ages and all them other things. And they are from the giant race, and so yeah, they kind of celebrate for a little bit. And of course, even though Luffy's asleep, he what's called Nami is right now just being next to Luffy, making sure that he doesn't really die or anything. So of course, she just making sure that Luffy is not dying. So yeah, of course we go into 30 minutes. Of course, there what's called Luffy's crew is leaving, and of course Nami has to be kind of captain for a little bit because she knows she's actually the navigator and somewhat the substitute captain. But yeah, even if she gave Zoro this shit, Zoro will probably be sleeping. And we go into Zoro. Zoro's fucking sleeping. So yeah. Of course, well, they're kind of navigating towards the next island. And of course, Luffy wakes up, and this is where, well, Luffy does rub his eyes. Well, kind of takes his blindfold off to just rub his eyes. Of course, it kind of hurts a little bit. But this is where, well, he goes outside to kind of see that a giant fish was about to attack them until they all kind of blasted off because of the giant's help. But yeah, this is where Luffy says, damn, that was a giant goldfish. Ugh, my head still hurts a lot. This is where, well, Luffy kind of sees what's called Nami kind of navigating the what's called sails and all that. And of course, the others like Mr. 5, Mr. 3, and what's called Mrs. Valentine's and Mrs. what's called Monday are right now helping. So yeah. And besides, even though they didn't really want to help that much, Nami's pretty scary. This is where, well, they are actually right now doing what's called what Nami's telling them to do. And yeah, that's where, well, Luffy kind of goes to Nami and sees that Nami is right now kind of being the substitute captain. This is where Luffy says, so, how great is it for you to kind of, substitute being me for a while? You know, that's kind of messed up. That's where Nami says, because you passed out? Huh? Hello? You fucking almost died. Luffy says, I didn't die. I just passed out from the drain of chakra. Or not chakra. He didn't say that. From the drain of, well, energy. It's fine. I wouldn't die and leave you anyway. He kind of gets close to her. And of course, is where Luffy's just tired because, yeah, he almost passes out on what's called Nami. But yeah, this is where Luffy says, besides, I'll never let you down anyway. That's where, well, Nami says, yeah, whatever. She's kind of becoming red. And of course, Luffy, he does, look at Nami for a second. Because he's right now kind of adjusting his eyes. And of course, as well, he sees something on Nami, like a bug. Well, not a bug. It kind of something on what's called Nami's body, kind of bit into her, like something bite on her to her. This is where Luffy says, Nami, are you okay? Nami says, I'm fine. She passes out onto what's called Luffy's like arms. This is where Luffy says, Nami. This is where Nerjiro kind of runs towards what's called Luffy and Nami. And this is where Nerjiro says, what happened? This is where Luffy says, we need a doctor. There's something wrong with Nami. And this is where, well, Nerjiro nods, and of course, this is where, well, Luffy does bring her towards the bed of the captain headquarters anyway. And of course, this is where, well, Nerjiro is right now looking at the temperature of Nami's and sees that's pretty high when she touches her, like, forehead. This is where, well, Luffy says, damn, we can't get to what's it called. Well, the kingdom. I'm sorry, Vivi, but I need to take care of what's called Nami. This is where Vivi nodded and she says, it's all fine. I understand. This is where, well, they are still going towards what's called the Drum Kingdom. And of course, when they get there, this is where, well, Luffy, he stayed up all night. So, of course, he's tired. He has his eyes kind of, well, open for a while. Of course, when they're getting near the kingdom, this is where, well, that fat dude kind of comes in and tries to eat what's called Luffy's ship. Luffy looks at this dude and obliterates him in an instant. He does not give a fuck about his ship or anything. This is where Luffy kind of says, curse energy, hollow purple, and obliterates him in an instant. Kind of erasing them from fucking existence, exactly. That's where, well, all of them are shocked and horrified to see Luffy's kind of, well, powerful technique. This is where Luffy is tired also, but he doesn't care. He right now wants to kind of heal Nami. But even if he learned any healing jutsu from his past life, he wouldn't be able to heal her. Even if he used reverse curse red, well, not reverse curse red, reverse curse energy on Nami, well, Gojo can't really use it on people, if that's what you're wondering. Luffy can't use his reverse curse energy because Gojo could never. Only Gojo knows how to use it on himself to heal himself because it was on a state of a moment from death. But kind of healing other people is kind of impossible for Gojo. So yeah, Gojo really never learned how to actually do that. Or he really can't, mostly. So, of course, this is where, well, Luffy's angry that he can't heal her. Of course, this is where they get to the Drum Kingdom. And of course, this is where Luffy kind of, like, bows down towards the Drum Kingdom. Like one dude, and tells him, please, the only thing I care is about healing Nami, please. I want to just talk to a doctor. Or see a doctor for Nami's sake. This is where, well, Luffy kind of takes off his blindfold. He's right now crying a little bit. This is where, well, I forgot his name, kind of just says, hold your weapons. This is where, well, all of them kind of let what's called Luffy and his group kind of go in, and yeah. This is where, well, I forgot what's called his name. Wait, let me try to remember. So Dalton explains that his name is Dalton, and of course this is where he explains that there's only one doctor left in the Drum Kingdom, and she is all the way on top of the mountain. This is where Luffy agrees that he will be the one to take what's called Nami. But of course this is where, well, when what's called Nerjiro kind of looks at Luffy kind of walking strangely. This is where she She did ask what's called Luffy about why he's walking strangely. Luffy says that he's fine. This is where Nerjiro kind of asks for how Luffy looks like underneath the what's it called? Well, underneath his blindfold. This is where Luffy says there's nothing, and of course this is where Nerjiro asks because she's worried for her sister also. But yeah. Of course this is where, well, Luffy says fine. He takes off his blindfold, and he's right now tired. His eyes has, well, sleeping bags. This is where, well, Luffy says, I've just been worried for her, okay? Besides, I'll be fine. I'm the strongest anyway. This is where, well, Nerjiro says, no, wait, Luffy, you should get sleep before. This is where Luffy kind of grabs what's called Nami from the bed, and of course, this is where Luffy says, don't worry, I'll be fine. So, of course, Luffy does kind of take what's called Nami towards the mountain. And, of course, even though he can use what's called teleportation, he can't. He's out of energy a little bit. So, instead, he just decides to carry Nami with Bryosaw towards the mountain. Of course, this is where, well, he does get attacked by rabbits, but of course he's using Limitless, well, the little power he has, to kind of block any damage from hitting what's called Nami. So of course he's walking across there. And of course, this is where, well, snow avalanche still happens, and of course, there's like a small rabbit, so of course Luffy will still help the small rabbit with like the mom rabbit and all. So of course Luffy does pick it up, and Luffy does walk towards what's called, well, towards the kingdom. Of course, is where Luffy, he gets to the kingdom, and of course is where, well, before he can even get to the kingdom, before he can climb it up and all that, he's saying, damn it, would I be even enough chakra? So he decides to try it anyway, to put chakra into his legs, and of course kind of climb up the mountain, kind of walk up a little bit. This is where he's walking up until he kind of almost ran out of like energy, and of course he accidentally didn't put enough chakra into his legs to kind of stay stable, kind of stay up on that ledge and all that. And of course he slipped and says, no, damn it. So he tries to grab what's called a ledge, but before even falling and all that, so they managed to catch him from what's called the ground, and also save Nami. It was the snow rabbits. This is where, well, Luffy is tired. The snow rabbits can see that Luffy is trying to get up the mountain, so what they do is kind of carry Nami and Luffy up there. So of course then put them near the kingdom, the castle. This is where Luffy kind of falls asleep because, yeah, he has been tired. He's been awoke for a while, and also hasn't rested because he was too worried. So of course he fell asleep, and of course two people, well, kind of walk towards the kingdom and sees what's called Luffy and what's called Nami being there. Nami kind of being cuddled up with a rabbit and kind of making sure that she stays warm, and Luffy kind of just resting there. His eyes just being very closed and tired. He's asleep right now. As well, the lady says, I guess we have two patients. Of course, she kind of tells, well, she tells what's called Chopper to tell the rabbit to kind of leave the patient here and all that. And of course, that's what Chopper did to the rabbit, because this is Chopper and the old lady. And of course, this is where, well, they take Nami inside and Luffy also. And this is where Luffy, he wakes up. He kind of like wakes up. He's just like, damn it. That's where he then realized, Nami. This is where Luffy kind of gets up. Of course, he's having strains on his eyes. This is where, well, he just has a strain because he hasn't slept for a while. And of course, he just closes them. This is where, well, Chopper says, hey, easy there. This is where Luffy says, who are you exactly? This is where Chopper says, the name's Chopper. And, well, you and the other girl was kind of near our kingdom. So we're right now, well, Chopper says that the doctor's right now treating what's called Nami. And even the doctor kind of sees Luffy's injuries a little bit. Luffy wasn't injured that much because, well, yeah. It was mostly because of the snow rabbits. Then also because of his tiredness and exhaustedness from his wasting too much energy like chakra. And also not getting enough sleep. As our Chopper kind of congratulations what's called Luffy for his immense willpower. The fact that Luffy didn't give up even if he didn't have much energy. This is where, well, Luffy kind of just says, yeah. Wait, is Nami okay? This is where Chopper nodded, just saying that she's right now sleeping. And Luffy is, thank God. She's like, thank the fuck God. This is where Luffy is just fell back to sleep because, yeah, he's too tired. So, yeah. Of course, this is where, well, what was his name? Dotto does come up with what's called Luffy's crew and all that. Of course, to see the doctor and even Chopper. Because, well, Waddle, he got really erased from existence from Luffy's hollow purple. So, yeah. Well, not even hollow purple. Just red curse energy. And even obliterate the others. So, yeah. He didn't use hollow purple. So, yeah. Because that would be way too much energy. This is where, well, Luffy, he wakes up the next day. And, of course, he is right now kind of rested up. His injuries kind of healed on his own. And, of course, this is where Luffy, he kind of looks down and see that he doesn't have his shirt or what's called his coat. Because what he has is a black kind of greenish coat, so yeah. And of course his shirt is not there, so yeah. Of course, where Luffy kind of also like touches his face, realizes he doesn't have his mask or his blindfold. So of course he's like saying, "Shit, where are those?" Of course, this is where he's looking around, and of course, where he accidentally stumbles into what's called Nami's room, sees Nami is still asleep, and Luffy kind of looks at her and says, "Adorable." Wait, no, I shouldn't. She probably wouldn't care that much about me. Then again. Because he has seen her emotions a little bit. And Luffy just says, no, she's probably just overreacting. Maybe that's just my imagination. This is where Luffy's kind of still looking around. This is where Chopper says, why are you up? This is where Luffy says, huh? Oh, because I'm already healed. I don't feel pain anywhere in my body. So yeah, that's why I'm up. I'm just looking for my clothing, and also, where have you seen my mask and also my blindfolds? Chopper says, oh, those? I thought it was kind of weird for you to cover your face. If you wanted to cover your face, you could have wear a mask. Or like an actual mask, an armor mask or something. But they are right now kind of drying up because, well, you were covered with snow, so I mean, yeah. Luffy says, got it. Do you have bandages to cover up my eyes at least? This is where Chopper says, why? Luffy explains that his eyes are somewhat of a curse, but also a blessing. This is where Chopper kind of also, well, explains to Luffy a little bit about him, because Luffy is kind of nice enough to explain about his eyes. So, of course, Luffy says, so, are you also a medical doctor? When Chopper was putting on the bandages? This is where, well, Chopper nodded, kind of just shaking his head, knowing Luffy is probably not going to be able to see it. And Luffy says, oh, yes, that's interesting. Have you ever decided to explore the world or anything? This is where Chopper kind of get a flashback into, well, his past life and all that, because he wanted to become, well, a pirate somewhat, so yeah. Well, not a pirate, he wanted to explore the world with what's called the Old Man and all that. And of course, well, Chopper kind of nodded his head, thinking that Luffy would be able to see again. Well, even though he doesn't really understand it, even though he kind of understands Luffy's eyes problem, but yeah. This is where, well, Luffy says, interesting. So, would you like to explore the world with me and my crew? This is where Chopper kind of is unsure of himself. Luffy says, you don't need to agree right now. Even if you don't really need to agree anyway, Luffy said. I know if you don't want to agree, you don't need to agree. I'm not going to force you or anything. Besides, your dough fruit's pretty interesting. Even if it might be a curse to you, it might be a blessing to you at the same time. Because you can understand what humans are saying. And you have different transformations to kind of defend yourself from humans. So, think of it as a blessing, not of a curse. I think of my eyes sometimes of a blessing at the same time curse. But that's just my eyes. So it just doesn't matter. That's where Luffy smiles at what's called, well, Chopper. And Chopper sees the genuine smile. And of course, he kind of has this feeling that he should go with Luffy. Because Luffy is pretty damn strong. His willpower is beyond that normal, of a normal human. And of course, he is, well, just very nice at the same time. So Chopper thinks about it, and yeah. Of course, where Luffy says, also, do you know where my mask is at? This is where Chopper says, right now, drying up. Luffy says, God damn it. Luffy just like, damn it. Because he doesn't really like showing his, like, face a little bit that much. He's like Kakashi, so yeah. Of course, where, well, we go into, well, them after kind of what's called, well, Nami waking up and seeing what's called Luffy. Luffy right in front of her. Now, of course, Luffy doesn't have his mask or his blindfold, but has to bandage up instead. And this is where Nami says, Luffy? Is that you? Of course, she wakes up and says, wait, did you sleep well? This is where Luffy says, calm down. I'm okay. Besides, I'm asking you that. I should be asking you that. You know, because of your sickness. This is where Nami just says, "Don't worry about me." God damn it. I should be worrying about you. Luffy says, "Why would you be worried about me? Besides, I'm fine. I'm strong enough to, well, be fine." This is where Nami just says, yeah, that is true. This is where, well, the others, Najiro managed to get into the kingdom and all that to kind of find her sister and all that. Because Chopper kind of made her, well, Chopper kind of let what's called Najiro kind of follow her, and yeah, and even Vivi. Vivi kind of follows what's called Chopper. They get to what's called Nami's room, and of course they're hearing what's called Luffy and Nami kind of talk. And of course this is where Najiro busts through the door and says, "Nami, alright, calm down. You realize you two are too young to have any kids." This is where, well, Nami and Luffy are right now flustered to say, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Najiro says, "Oh, you're not talking about that. Nothing." This is where, well, Nami and Luffy kind of just like has question marks on like their head. And this is where Luffy just kind of shaked it off and just doesn't care. This is where, well, Najiro and Vivi kind of ask Nami if she's okay, and Nami, she says she's fine, and Luffy just is glad that she's fine. This is where, well, Luffy kind of goes outside out of the kingdom to kind of look outside into the sun and all that. And Chopper goes outside and he says, I want to go with you. This is what Luffy says. Wait, what? I want to go and explore the world. I want to learn about new medicines and all them other things. This is where Luffy smiles and says, sure. This is where, well, the old lady still kind of hates the fact that Chopper's leaving. And of course, she does make what's called Chopper kind of like run out and all that. And even Nami managed to get to the boat, but yeah. Of course, this is where, well, Chopper, he was kind of terrified of the old lady, but yeah. Of course, they're still going to Alabasta, but yeah. Of course, we go into, well, to Alabasta. So, of course, this is where Luffy and the others managed to get to Alabasta. And of course, they go to the same route and all that. Of course, going to, well, that one docks and all that. And they get out. So, of course, this is where Luffy kind of tells it called Mr. 5, Mr. 3, Miss Valentine's, and even what's called Mrs. Monday, to kind of get the other lower members from the Barantage to kind of get up on the war and all that, and follow him to get enough members like that. Of course, it's called Luffy did also met Mr. 2, and Luffy, he had his blindfold on and all them other things. So, of course, Mr. what's it called? 2 can never change into what's called Luffy, because yeah, even when what's called Mr. 2 tried to touch Luffy and all that, he couldn't, because there was he couldn't really touch him because of the Limitless. This is where Luffy did not trust Mr. what's called 2. And that's just because Mr. 3 kind of said that was Mr. 2, and they're right now hiding in barrels. And of course, this is where Mr. 2 is kind of leaving, and yeah. So Luffy kind of heard that was Mr. 2. So of course, this is where Luffy explains that was Mr. 2, and that we should have like X marks. So yeah. Of course, they get to the what's called, well, kingdom, somewhat the what's called island and all that. And of course, they're right now just going through what's called the kingdom, or not even the kingdom. I mean the what's called where they docks and Virginia Cannon. But yeah. So, of course, Luffy kind of went to go get food, still, like original canon. But, of course, he didn't do it reckless, because he's smarter than that. But, of course, he still wants to be reckless enough. But, of course, he gets to what's called a shop and all that. And, of course, this is where, well, they couldn't really find Luffy, what's called his crew members. But, of course, Luffy gets to the shop and sees what's called 2 men talking. And this is where Luffy realized one was the Marine Captain. Well, not Marine Captain. Yeah, the Marine Captain named Smoker. And this is where Luffy, he puts Armament Hawk into his leg and just kicks, well, Smoker into, well, Ace. Not knowing Ace was right now in front of what's called Smoker. So, of course, their boat just smashed into the wall. And this is where, well, Ace is kind of going, ow, what the fuck was that? This is where Luffy kind of looks at Smoker and even Ace. And Luffy says, Ace? Ace looks up and says, Luffy, you little brat for fucking kicking the Marine Captain at me. This is where he tries to kind of attack Luffy, but realizes he still can't attack Luffy because of the Limitless. Luffy says, I only did that because you're just weaker than me. This is where Ace is trying to really punch Luffy in the head, but realizes he can't because of Limitless again. This is where Smoker says, why you two pirates, you two criminals? This is where Luffy, he says, oh, I'm a criminal? Huh, did not really notice that. This is where Luffy, he said, red. Flicks, flicks it towards the Smoker, and Smoker gets launched. That's where Luffy says, well, time to eat. That's where Ace says, Jesus Christ, Luffy. Do you always have to launch anyone away from you? Luffy says, well, I mean, when I'm hungry, I want to eat. This is where, well, Ace says, so you're going to take off the mask? Luffy kind of goes through hand signs and says, yeah, I am. Kind of shows as darkness, and Luffy's kind of like taked off the mask, but darkness showing. This is where, well, Ace says, why you little brat? Luffy says, oh, but you're not going to be able to see my face. No one is. You know, since I'm going to keep hiding my identity. This is where Ace just sighs and says, you're just a little brat. This is where, well, Luffy like laughs, and then this is where he eats a lot. And the Ace, he does kind of like take one of what Luffy's kind of like meat and all that. And this is where Luffy kind of looks at Ace and says, don't you dare fucking touch that. Ace eats it and says, too fucking bad, and runs, knowing that Luffy will explode in power and anger. Because he has done this before when they were younger. And of course, Luffy says, come here, you fucking bastard. This is where Ace is right now running. He's like, shit. This is where, well, Luffy, he could chase after Ace, but he can do that later. He just orders a drink and just drinks it, but yeah. Of course, this is where, well, Ace is kind of sighing. He's like, at least Luffy can't fight. When he says that, Luffy appears. Luffy says, surprise, bitch. This is where, well, Ace kind of almost screams, and this is where Luffy says, shut up. Damn, you scream like a girl half the time. This is where Ace says, what the hell did you just call me? Luffy says, a weakling. This is where he sticks out his tongue. And this is where, well, it's kind of like to stick out his tongue, but this is where he doesn't do that. Because, well, he has his mask on. So, yeah. This is where, well, Luffy is saying, well, I gotta get to my crew members since, yeah. This is where Ace says, you know, shouldn't you be wearing what, like, the people are wearing here? So wearing this black coat, kind of looking like that. This is where, well, Luffy says, nah, it's fine. It's not that hot anyway. This is where Ace says, you say that now and you're probably burning up inside. This is where Luffy says, shut up. This is where Luffy does kind of go and get what's called clothing before he leaves and all that to get to his crew members. This is where he gets the clothing of kind of wearing what's called green. Even though he will wear, well, he would like to wear black or like dark clothing. But of course, black is the worst thing to wear in the desert because it absorbs the heat and he knows about that. So of course, he kind of gets what's called a light color, like what's called purple a little bit. Like it still had a purple on it, but it was kind of white at the same time. And this is where, well, Luffy gets to his crew members. And of course, where, well, Luffy kind of says, Yamato. Well, he doesn't say that, okay? He kind of just gets to his crew members. Of course, Ace also jumps onto his boat. And this is where Luffy says, yo, guys. This is where, well, they ask where Luffy has been. And this is where Luffy says, oh, just meeting up with a old family member. This is where all of them kind of just like, ... who? Ace appears and says, yo. This is where all of them say, huh? This is where, well, Zoro says, wait, aren't you Fire Fist Ace? Wait. Because he does see the, what's it called? Well, the symbol and all that, but yeah. And this is where all of them say, oh shit, that's Fire Force Ace? Fire Fist Ace. From what's called one of the, well, commanders in what's called Whitebeard's army and all that. This is where, well, Ace says, yep, hi. I'm actually what's called Luffy's older brother, Ace. This is where, well, all of them were white in their eyes, hearing that Luffy has an older brother. Luffy says, an older weakling brother in that last part. This is where Ace says, shut the fuck up, Luffy, shut up. Shut up, shush. I'm his older brother. Just, you all gotta know that. Luffy says, and weaker. This is where Ace looks at Luffy. Luffy just whistles and walks away, and Ace says, "What, you little fucking brat?" This is where Ace still kind of says the same thing original canon, saying that my little brother might be a handful and other things. This is where all of them nods, well, kind of shakes their head saying, "Nah, they're not much of a handful." But he is kind of what's called. This is where, well, they kind of just not really lied. And of course, Ace says, "You can tell me the truth. He might be annoying half the time. How should I say, a stubborn little brat and other things." This is where Luffy says, "I might be all of that, but you know damn well that you're weaker than me." This is where Ace says, "I'm gonna fucking find a way to break through that goddamn barrier and punch you in the face." That's where Luffy says, "That would take you 1,000,000 years because, you know, you're weaker than me." This is where Ace says, "I'm had enough of your shit. Come here, Luffy." This is where Luffy says, "You can't hurt me." This is where Ace tried to punch at Luffy, and Luffy has Limitless, so yeah. Ace says, "Fuck you." This is where Luffy says, "Nothing's what's called older brother. Yeah, you know, you're just my older brother that's weaker than me. Also, where's Sabo?" That's where, Ace said, "Oh, he joined your dad's work instead." That's where Luffy thinks about it and it's like, "Oh, him. That deadbeat." The Ace says, he kind of laughs a little bit and says, "Yeah, him. Well, Luffy, what's it called? What are you gonna do after this? Well, what are you gonna do for shaking up the world of you becoming the next Pirate King? You know that little stunt you did?" This is where, well, Luffy says, "What stunt? The one in Log Town?" Luffy says, "I thought lightning would hit me. I wasn't expecting the goddamn God Shine Ray just appear behind me, showing that I am the next, what's it called, Pirate King. Well, damn, if I'm the next Pirate King, then that means I'm stronger than you, Ace." This is where Ace says, "Screw you." This is where, well, Luffy says, "But other than that, yeah, I'm gonna become the next Pirate King." This is where Ace says, "Well, I'm gonna help what's called Whitebeard become the Pirate King before you." This is where Luffy says, "You? I mean, that will probably won't help that much." This is where Ace says, "Well, you little brat, stop calling me weak every single time you get the damn chance for." This is where, well, a lot of pirates, what's it called, a lot of boats are kind of charging at Luffy. And they're like a bunch of like pirates and all that. This is where Luffy looks over, and this is where Ace says, "I got this." Luffy says, "No, I got this." This is where, well, they both disappear, and they both kind of like, well, what's it called? Ace kind of jumped onto his boat, and Luffy just appeared right in midair, kind of just smiling. And of course, this is where Luffy says, "Lightning style." He makes it to Kai. He goes through hand sign and says, "Lightning style. Lightning beam." This is where Ace says, "Fire fist. Fire flame." I forgot what was the original canon he said. But yeah, he sends a fire attack while Luffy sends a lightning attack. And they both go through a bunch of boats and collide in the middle, exploding. This is where Luffy kind of like, what's it called, grabs Ace from actually falling into the water because his boat kind of got thrown off because of him. This is where, well, Ace says, "God damn it, didn't I tell you I got this?" Luffy says, "I mean, you did, but you're just weaker than me anyway." This is where Ace says, "You little brat." This is where, well, Luffy is kind of like saying, "I mean, it's true, Ace." This is where he dodges a punch, and this is where Ace says, Wait. That barrier is gone." He tries to grab at Luffy, and of course, when he tries that, the Limitless came back on. Because, you know, Luffy can basically turn it off or on. He lets anyone touch him anyway. Some people touch him, some people not. So yeah, that's how Limitless kind of works. He will let kind of people touch him a little bit or not. But of course, this is where, well, Ace says, "You turn that fucking barrier off so I can show you what's fucking good." Luffy says, "Nah, I think I'm good." Is it where, well, Ace says, "Whatever." So, of course, we go into a 30-minute time skip. Of course, they still get back to the, what's it called, shore. And, of course, they are right now going to walk through. So, of course, this is where, well, Luffy, he just says, "Come on, brother. we can do this as a family, somewhat, kind of just talking to this person, whatever. Besides, don't you need to get to shore anyway to kind of do whatever you're doing? This is where, well, he says yes. Well, you little brat. Also, Luffy, I should mention, when they get into shore, of course, the Kung Fu, what's called, those Kung Fu, what do they call? Luffy still kind of fights against some Kung Fu Dukans. And of course, Luffy managed to get them all because he defeated the leader. And of course, is where, well, they kind of stay next to the boat and all that to kind of protect it. So yeah. And of course, is where Luffy kind of goes towards shore. And of course, they're walking. Now, of course, Ace is shocked to see that Luffy didn't even try that much. Well, he did kind of try in just fighting them. And also kind of train them in his fighting techniques. Luffy kind of trained the, what's it called, Kung Fu Dukan. That's where Ace says, why will you train that many? That's where Luffy says, because one day I'm going to get them all to kick your ass. You know, because you're weaker than me and you know they're water creatures. And your fire probably won't work on them. That's where Ace says, I'm going to fucking punch you one day in my goddamn life. I don't care how long it will take me to punch you in the head because of your stupid barrier. I will get through. That's where Luffy says, you probably would never. Bye-bye. That's where Ace says, why you little brat? Of course, they're walking through the shore and all that because they still are getting to what's called the Revolution Army. Because BB wants to talk to the Revolution Army leader and all that. But yeah. Of course, Ace does tell Luffy about what's called Blackbeard. And how he ate like the special fruit and all that. And yeah. Even though Luffy doesn't know about Blackbeard. But yeah. That's where Luffy says, sure, I'll look out for some fat dude that has dark skin and all that. And of course, this is where Luffy does get a paper from Ace still at the same time. And this is where Luffy says, huh, what is this? Because, what's it called? It's like a paper to kind of show that... I actually don't know what the paper is for. Ah, damn, I forgot about it. But of course, they are kind of walking. Of course, it's turning dark, so they can't get to, well, the place, so they have to rest up. So, of course, this is where they kind of set up camp. And, of course, this is where, well, Luffy is kind of, like, on the ground and all that, kind of taking a nap. And this is where, well, Ace still kind of talks to all of them. But this is where, well, like, all of them that were there. So, like, Phoebe, Norgina, what's it called, Zoro, and Nami, and the others. This is where Nami, she's getting kind of tired. And this is where, well, Ace is just talking about that Luffy is just what's called, might be a brat and annoying half the time, but he's a good kid. That's where Najiro, who's basically Nami's older sister, kind of asks Ace about why Luffy doesn't show his face half the time, or his eyes. Ace talks about that Luffy's eyes is somewhat of a blur and, well, curse at the same time. The fact that it drains his energy too much, and that's why he has it covered every time. He had them when he was little, having glasses, like shades, to protect his eyes. Really always thought that was just a style, but really it was just to protect his eye from using too much energy. And of course, this is where, well, he then says the mask is just him being a little brat. I don't know what's with the mask or anything, he just doesn't like showing his face. Stubborn little brat. This is where, well, he then also kind of talks about a memory when him and his other brother named Sabo, he doesn't really explain Sabo much, actually did take, what's it called, Luffy's mask and what's it called, glasses before. And that pissed off Luffy in hunting them down. So yeah, he then explains that never to really take off what's called, forcibly take off what's called Luffy's, like, what he's wearing on his face, because he would mostly hunt you down and murder you. So yeah, this is where Luffy wakes up. Of course, you can't see if he's woken up or he's sleepwalking. This is where Luffy grabs Nami and kind of just wants to take a nap with her. This is where Nami is flustered and blushing, and she's just like, why is Luffy doing this? This is where Ace says, aw, cute. Wait, did Luffy find someone interesting? Huh. That's where Norjiro says, yeah, because, you know, my little sister's the perfect person for, well, our captain. That's where Ace says, huh, I think this is the greatest blackmailing I'm ever gonna use. This is where, well, Norjiro says, don't you think they're adorable? This is where, well, Nami says, "Shut up, both of you! No, no, don't you dare use anything." That's where Luffy says, "Ace, you're weaker than me. You probably won't be able to use it." This is where Ace says, "Oh really, you little brat." This is where Luffy falls back to sleeping. Yeah. This is where Ace says, "I'm gonna punch that little brat one day." But yeah. This is where Ace kind of asks Nojiro who she is. And Nojiro says, "Well, my name is Nojiro. Of course, Nami's sister. Kinda older sister. And you must be Ace because you're older." "Wait, how old are you?" Nojiro asks. This is where Ace says 20. Nojiro says same. This is where, well, Luffy kind of snores a little bit, kind of saying maybe you should two hook up, because Nojiro might need to protect Ace because of how weak he is. This is where Ace says, "Why you little brat? Why won't you shut up and go back to sleep?" Luffy's asleep, but yeah. This is where Nami kind of giggles, but yeah. She does fall asleep, but yeah. This is where, well, we go into, well, a time skip of like the night ending. And of course the next day happening. Of course Ace does leave because he does get a trail for Blackbeard, but yeah. Of course, where, well, Luffy says take care and don't let the dude capture you in the near future or anything because how weak you are. Ace says shut the fuck up, Luffy. Here's where Luffy just laughs and chuckles and does wave at, well, Ace, and Ace does leave. So they are going towards the Revolution Army, but this is actually where I'm going to leave it off. So yeah, I actually wanted to get to this part of, well, them meeting, what's it called, Ace, because I wanted to, like, mention about a little bit of Ace and Luffy's relationship. Kind of like, their relationship of being brothers and all that. The fact that Luffy always calls Ace weak, and Sabo, he doesn't really call him weak, he likes calling Ace weak because of how annoying he was when they were younger. Because Luffy basically just likes annoying Ace, mostly. But yeah. But of course, with that happening, I'll end it off here. Part 5 will be whenever. Of course, I have to also finish One Piece, and yeah. Well, finish watching it, because yeah. But other than that, have a nice potato day, potato night, potato seed, potato, and potato. Bye-bye.